Am I ever excited for you to hear this conversation today with myself and Leslie Gustafson? Leslie is a 30 plus year psychotherapist and sex therapist turned master transformation coach and mentor for savvy women. A seven-figure CEO, Leslie founded Amazing You, Lifestyle and Success Co. to guide women into exquisite lives, love, and standout businesses with her deep knowledge, spiritual inspiration, authentic identity, empowerment, and fun. Women can create lives they love their way. Married for 28 years to her soulmate husband and coach Doug, Leslie has two sons, one a rock musician who she manages, and four grandkids. Make sure to check out the links in the show notes and get in touch with Leslie after listening to this episode. You're going to love her. I could have talked to her for hours. Let's get into it. Oh my goodness. Did you hear that the doors to Cash Flow, our 4-week mastermind, are now open? And not only are you going to get to join us inside of Cash Flow, you're also going to get instant access to Manifesting Money Masterclass, which is our signature money course that we've taken over 600 women through. When you sign up for the 4-week live mastermind experience called Cash Flow, you will unlock instant access to Manifesting Money Masterclass. Cash Flow is for those of you who are open-minded about growing a multiple six-figure business this year. Your up level is waiting. It's your chance to commit to practicing the skills that get sales and focus on the financial health, aka cash in the door, of your business. So if you're ready to be held accountable, to be challenged, and to be coached, not just to learn how to increase your sales, but actually make it happen, then do not wait to get into this mastermind. We are keeping it small and intimate with a maximum capacity of only 12 people. So if you are claiming one of those spots, head to the link in the show notes now, get signed up. We can't wait to get started. The first call is going to be on Thursday, February 20th, and it will be every Thursday after that for the following 4 weeks. Again, Cashflow is a 4-week mastermind where you will experience direct support with the top 2 things you need to thrive in your business, which is our proven sales training and transformative weekly mindset work. You're also going to get live mentorship from myself and Kayla to bring your 6-figure or multiple 6-figure strategy to life. And then you're also going to get all the behind the scenes tutorials on simple business tech that has skyrocketed our business to beyond 7 figures in 3 years. And yes, the calls will be recorded if you can't attend live and will be accessible for the duration of the mastermind. However, we recommend that you carve out this time in your calendar, Thursday, February 20th through Thursday, March, every week at 12 p.m. PST for 1 hour. And again, you're going to get that bonus of Manifesting Money Masterclass, which is our most sought after signature money program. You're going to get invited to a call to come join us to talk about our Manifesting Money Masterclass and how you can implement that into your life and business today. And then for those of you who pay in full, you're going to get our Cash Flow Queen mug, which people have these all around the world, and we love pouring our favorite hot beverage in them, bringing them to our calls, cheersing and celebrating all of the big wins that we're getting up to. So if this is what you want, this is what you need, and you are ready to make it happen to dive deep in 4 weeks and get more sales in your business, then don't hesitate. Click that link in the show notes and let's get you signed up today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode here on my AlignedPurpose podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Crown. And I have a special guest here today that I'm going to get to know and learn alongside all of you who are listening. Today, I have Leslie Gustafson. And Leslie and I were in the same Facebook group community, and there were lots of women in there, hundreds to be honest. And you were the only person I reached out to.
Oh,
I saw your post and I was like, oh, I have my lineup of guests for the next little while. And I thought, no, there's something about what this woman just wrote that I'm interested in. And I was just sharing off record with you, Leslie, that it was the length of experience that you have in the work that you do and the work that you do. So why don't we get into it together? Why don't you tell everybody, where are you calling in from today and what are you grateful for?
oh, that's a great question. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for having me, Nicole. I am in Colorado, born and raised in California, but we moved here 13 years ago. for a change of pace and a new life. And we love Colorado, but I miss the beach.
Absolutely.
And grateful. That list is so broad and nuanced and deep and long. And I'm grateful to be right here. I'm grateful to be alive. And then I love the magic of gratitude, which is once you get going and you start being grateful, it expands and can expand and it can expand. So I could talk about what I'm grateful for the entirety of our time because it will just keep stacking on itself once I get going. And it's a practice I love to and recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that.
Sure.
And I agree so much. There's something to be said for like just listing off a gratitude, but actually feeling in
Yes.
gratitude and why it is something that we feel grateful for. And then allow
Yes.
that to continue to be the chain, like you mentioned. And yeah, and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, and it can't be in our heads, right? It can't be that check off the list. I am blessed, and for this, I am, and it's all up in your head, and there's no real connection. When we really start to inhabit gratitude, it comes very much from our center, our heart center, our core, and we almost cry because it's got a feeling and an embodiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Leslie, the work that you do, from my understanding and doing a little search through your socials and that sort of thing, it seems like you are the Leslie of all trades. It seems like you have lots of passions and lots of areas of expertise. Why don't we start with what you're currently doing for work? And then I have some follow-up questions for that.
Sounds good. 5 years ago, I started moving out of a long-term private practice as a psychotherapist and sex therapist, working primarily with couples and women. I did that for over 30 years. My specializations, my many passions go back 44 years. And because I'm old, they are broad ranged. They are many and they are deep and they are creative and the things that really make my heart sing at this point. So I left the private practice space completely weaned out 4 years ago when I finally decided to leap and do what I was called to do back in 2004, which is to empower women at a very high level, more than a private practice setting would allow. So I started my Amazing You lifestyle and success company. It's helping women, guiding them into exquisite lives, love, and businesses, purpose-filled women or women who are trying to find their purpose and brand and whatnot. My expertise is in deep work, in inner transformation and abundance that extends itself to the reception of outer abundance in every way. So it's an integrated, collected, this is what I really want to work on. And I'm in my zone of genius around time in my life. And so it can look like this, oh, jack of all trades. You're like, yes, but mm. Also completely my wheelhouse now.
Hmm. And I heard you say an exquisite life. What does that mean to you?
An exquisite life for a woman is a woman who is wholly connected to her fullness, her authenticity, has an incredible capacity to live through, hold, and experience all of the feelings. It's an intimate part of my own journey. Once upon a time, I didn't know I had a feeling, a need, or a want. 30 years later, my inner life, my creativity, my authenticity has come in full bloom. And I basically want the same for all women to be able to be delighted with their self, so delighted with themselves, and so in love with the process of growing and evolving and becoming more and more like she, I believe, is intended to be in her divinity. And that's limitless. And we have a limitless potentiality in that, which is so fun to watch women step into, maybe not even knowing who they really are, to becoming so empowered and delighted with themselves, able to fully express themselves and have full voice around their heart and their emotions without fear, without shame, without guilt, creating really alive, fierce, badass, feminine energied women who know who they are and are ready to get things done in a very high level way. And I'm in that experience, and to be able to create that legacy in other women is just forget it. I'm having the time of my life.
Oh, I love it. I can hear it and feel your grounded confidence, so that like the grounded conviction. And this is the work I'm doing. This is the lives I get to impact. This is what women deserve. Now, my curiosity goes to I share this often on the podcast. You wouldn't know this about me because we're just getting to know one another, but my past life was that I was a high school teacher.
Oh,
I did all that I do now with my Align Purpose and coaching and podcasting and events and all of that. Was a junior high school teacher, and I often saw in high school girls, especially grade 12, this anxiety producing decision to decide what you're going to do for the rest of your life, right? And pick a school and go
no.
and choose the path at 18. Like,
Right.
it's so beyond bizarre to me. And even thinking about my own experience as well, I knew I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to do these other things, but the
Yes.
path wasn't laid out for me and I didn't know the how. So I just did what everybody else was doing and went and got a couple degrees. And so
Yes.
now, if we flash back to teenage Leslie, okay, maybe it's one of two questions. What about teenage Leslie wanted to get into psychotherapy and supporting couples and women in sex and relationships and all of these sorts of things? Or if you didn't know that was what you wanted to do and that wasn't the decision, what did teenage Leslie think she was going to do? And then how did you get on the path that you got on?
Teenage Leslie was a cheerleader and a number one varsity tennis player. Teenage Leslie was going to go off to Washington State and play theoretically on the school team. And she went into graphic arts because she was an artist since she was a little girl. And she loved art and she loved graphic arts and she was highly competitive from birth. And teenage Leslie was on that track and had no inkling what was going to unfold for her in any way at that time. Teenage Leslie, up until that time, had never had a failure.
Mm.
Teenage Leslie could do it all. She was all the things, fifth grade treasurer, sixth grade president. She always won everything she tried to do. She was an athlete. She was a dancer. She was a good student. And it wasn't as silly as this sounds now in comparison to the gravity of things I've lived through. It wasn't until she didn't make varsity cheerleader, which crumbled her world. No joke. It crumbled her world. And I say that because to me, when I look back, it was so a part of my trajectory. But I was arrogant. I was incensed. How could that happen? I deserve everything. I always win everything. It was the first time I had to go, what did I do wrong? But it really put me into kind of a deep shame because I'd never experienced not winning. Yeah. That was the start of everything probably shifting there forward. I went off to Washington State. I found when I got there, I was overwhelmed by being out of my bubble existence of teenage Leslie. I had a very doting mother, enmeshed. You can use the word enmeshed if you like. And when I got to Washington State, because I wanted to go on adventure and get out of California and be my own person, I was ill-equipped to do so. I became my high school boyfriend was breaking up with me. I didn't have the passion when I was starting to try out for the tennis team. It was gray all the time, and I fell into, without question, a major depressive episode.
And what I'm hearing is, and for the first time, like that
Yes.
feeling had never lingered.
Yes. And so it was like things not working one after the other. I wasn't thriving at college. The guy I thought I was going to marry, you're 18, I was so in love. And then we were going to be married. And then I was devastated by that. I didn't know how to navigate the bad weather day after day in the midst of a heartbreak. and being away from my family and knowing how to do all of that without felt support. I overate. I gained 45 pounds. It was just not the same Leslie. Once could do it all, have it all, be it all. And it was in the spring of my freshman year at Washington State, I completely gave up. I called my parents. I said, I've got to come home. I'm failing my classes. I hate it here. I can't do it. I have a very achievement-focused family. It was horrifying to tell them that. And I just was embarrassed and ashamed that I had just done such a poor job, having always been an achiever and always worked for my father's approval, usual suspects. And I got off on the phone call and I was so sick about it that I said, I've got to do something. And what I ended up doing, which became unhealthy for me, was I'm going to start running and I'm going to start dieting. And that's how I'm going to start winning again. But I was desperate. I was depressed. I got fired from my little cafe job there, making sandwiches because I had a negative attitude. Again, mortified that I was fired. And what do you mean? What do you mean I'm negative attitude? And it wasn't until mid-February, I threw my hands up in the air in desperation and said, God, save me. And I know from that moment forward that something inside of me shifted. And I consider it a kind of conversion experience because my experience of myself became like there was one in me for the first time. There was someone of depth. There was something in me that made me feel like I have a self. Right. And I finished up the year. I had lost all the weight. I transferred to UCLA. I shifted into let's try and sample all the different things. I don't want to do art anymore because they're going to make me take Russian. So I did all of the sampling.
Anthropology or something.
All the things, all the 101s. I did all the 101s. And then I got into psychology and that was my lane. And it was clear. And at this point, after my pain, I did have a greater empathy for wanting to help others because I had been in pain. I had compassion for that. And psychology started to help me understand myself in a new way, as well as my spirituality. And then I had a heart for wanting to be able to help others. That's how it got established.
And then how did it mold into because were you in the field of sex therapy, sex psychotherapy?
Not yet. That came later. No, I started out in psychology and then got my master's in counseling psychology. I went straight into, I took a year off between deciding whether or not I was going to go into the ministry or go into graduate school. I ended up getting married after my first year of graduate school, but I did a little bit of catering in between. Catering, ran a catering business and restaurant management because I love food. So there was that little detour before I went to graduate school in counseling psychology. Married, had a little bit of a break there, and then finished up my master's and all of my hours, and then started private practice in 1991, which is how many years ago? I don't even know. And was licensed in 1994 and stayed in private practice I've been in private practice until 5 years ago, 6 years ago. My first marriage, I had a first marriage and it was a 7-year marriage. And I discovered 1 year in that he was a sexually compulsive man. And he had a beautiful way of making me feel as though if I were more, then he'd be fine. And I was naive enough to not understand that it wasn't about me. It just made me feel not good enough. He cheated on me and everything just spun out of control out of that. After that, we went into therapy for years. I went into therapy for years and got out of that marriage. It was 2004, was it around 2004, I started shifting my work in my private practice into sexuality and went and got trained to be a sex therapist. A couple of books that inspired me. One was one, because I started to get clear on it wasn't me, it was him. It wasn't me, it was him. Oh my goodness. my sexual naivety paired with his sexual history, I think he always had a side person. I never knew it. I was so young and naive.
Mhm.
And so my sexual naivete paired with his sexual experience and compulsivity and created a train wreck, even though I loved him dearly and we had an early trauma connection that
Sounds
felt,
fun.
yeah, total trauma bond, but I didn't know that. I thought it was fabulous
Yeah.
until it wasn't really fast. And so it was around 2004, I read a book called When Two Became One. And at the same time, the book by Esther Perel, my mentor, came out with Mating in Captivity. And I knew at that point that I needed to know so much more to help the couples in my office. We get so little training back then. And I still think it's so in the actual work of sexuality and couples work in sexuality. And yet it's such a significant part of a couple's life. They don't know how to talk about it with you, and neither does the therapist. And so nobody's talking about this key area because we weren't trained to or even to ask about it. So I was like, I, one, want to fix all of this and heal around it for myself. I also know that I'm underserving my couples because I can't even talk about it either. So I went into sex therapy training and then became a sex therapist with a certified sex therapist through an organization out of Atlanta, Georgia. And then ASECT is the major national organization where I'm certified with. So that was about 2007, 8. And yeah.
I'm curious because typically, maybe the word isn't typical. Oftentimes, there is a stigma around sex, right? Talking about sex, this sort of thing. And I hear you say that you came from a high achieving family.
Mhm.
Was there any uncomfortability around going back to high achieving parents and saying, the work I'm going to get into is in the field of sex? Or was it just, no, that's totally normal? No, there's no awkwardness around that.
Yes. So this was 2004. My background in my home was there was no talk of sex. My mom literally read a little pop-up book about the birds and the bees to me and my brother when we were around 10.
Mm.
And that was the extent of our education in our home. I assume my parents made love. I don't know. You know what I mean?
No.
There wasn't overt affection. They were very 50s kind of couple where, emotions, and we don't talk about what's real and we don't talk about emotions, and we certainly don't have a lot of affection. My father was military. My mom was very, hyper moral and Victorian. Loved them both. Don't get me wrong, but this is a different era of parenthood. And in 2004, when I journeyed into, I'm going to try to get the dates here right. My mom had passed from stomach cancer in 2001. If it would have been uncomfortable, it wouldn't have been near as uncomfortable that it once was because we had come pretty far in our adult to adult relationship with each other. She walked me through some very hard things in my divorce. She knew who I was and what I'd lived through. I don't think she would have been surprised. My dad was proud when my husband and our book came out, which called Amazing Intimacy, which is a how-to guide for love, sex, and passion. He was just proud. So it wasn't uncomfortable. I think they knew at that point the interesting daughter they created. I don't think it was too easy to shock him at that point. And my mom never knew. Yeah.
I'm sorry for the passing of your mom.
Thanks. I can't talk about it, but thanks. This month is the loss of both of them. 3 years ago for my mom, my best friend, my mom, and then about 9 to 10 for my dad. But my mom changed my legacy because her loss changed everything around knowing we have one life and living huge.
And I hear that in everything you're saying. I see it. I saw it in that first post. I see it on your social media. I hear it in your voice now. You're not here to fuck around and find out. You are here to make real change and live.
Yes.
Like I can feel that.
Yes.
Who are listening are going to feel that. What is, when you think about the women that you are working with or have got to meet and work with over the last few years, what do you feel like
or have they shared is their biggest transformation? They come to you and they're like, Leslie, this is what is going on in my life, or how I'm feeling, or how I'm perceiving the world. They work with you, and then how do they re-enter the world?
Oh, that's a great question. And every woman brings a different something and their own individual stories and their own individual wants. And so the outcomes can be varied for them. But I would say the core transformation is the inner conviction and true knowing of how magnificent, authentic, divine, and amazing they are. Because the heart of my work is identity work with women, really allowing them to get to know the woman she was born to be, and then life, right? And so women are growing from the inside out and coming to know how fabulous they are and how what they've lived through and all they've survived, and they thrive more and love themselves more and get more of a voice. But that core identity work of deconditioning the shit that we all get at varying degrees through our histories by injury from either systems or relationships or our own families or workplaces. Women have injury born of being women in the current age, but then everybody has their own individual injuries around their identity and around who they really are. And so women discover who they really are in all their magnificence, and changes everything. Changes everything.
Mm. Yeah. A- And my curiosity here is, do you find that most women come to you when they've hit some sort of breaking point? And if so, is there a common thread to what that breaking point is? Because I think, as in my specific role, for example, so I'm a business coach and my work is supporting women to move from one to one into one to many so they can get their life back. And so we often have women come to us when they're like, my Zoom calendar is packed, my calendar is packed. I've created this business, I'm overworking, I'm drained, I can't do it anymore. Help. That's when people,
All of that.
yeah.
Definitely all of that. I think that's a universal.
Yeah. And so what is the breaking point that you're hearing with women that they're like, I need this work. I need to know who I am. I need to find my magnificence. I need to shine. I need to be rock solid. What's the common theme? Is there a common age? Is there a common life situation that happens?
For sure, there's layers of it. And originally I started out with one program, which is called my signature program. And it's 25 modules of all the things that I believe women need to move through in order to realize their amazingness and live at in a higher level. And so I started with a signature program that definitely is more for women at a place of, this isn't the life that I thought I would have. This isn't who I thought I would be. I don't like my life. It's stressful. It's overwhelming. For my women who tend to be more midlife, from say 40 to 65, it's a lot of times they're in long-standing relationships that aren't very satisfactory anymore, or they wonder where they went and they got lost along the way. And there are symptoms of all sorts of things, right? They gained weight, or they're depressed, or they're anxious, or they're overwhelmed, or they're just flatlined. And so that initial program was very much geared to take a woman from whatever her stuckness is. And it could be anything. It could also be like, my husband wants to have sex. I'm like, what's that? I cannot, because she's burnout, overwhelmed, or raising little people. And it's like, she doesn't even have a heartbeat on her own desire, let alone the capacity to tend to someone else's. So there's a lot of different issues that a woman can have pain over and say, I need things to change. I want more. Most women entering into that program are really looking for relief, not unlike the women and men who come in initially and leave quickly in therapy. They want relief. It's been too uncomfortable, too tense, too stressful, too long, and it doesn't seem to be remitting. So they do something. But everybody's pain is a different pain. But pain is pain. And at some point you go, I just can't live in the pain. I want to live. They don't even know at this point what's possible. They don't even know maybe even about potentiality, but they do know this isn't cutting it. This isn't what I thought my life would look like. And I'm not happy. And I'm not sure it's okay to say I'm not happy, because is that selfish, or am I allowed to say this sucks? I deserve more, right?
Mhm.
Because the conditioning always keeps us in the little hostess good girl, take care of everybody else. And we have so much self-doubt and self-condemnation around our individuality and our fullness of expression and all of our feelings. I don't know about you, but happy was pretty much the zone in my growing up.
Yeah.
We were happy or we were quiet.
Happy, mad, sad, I think is what Brené Brown has said in the past before she put out Atlas of the Heart and studied all the emotions. Like, as a society, as a generation, or in generations before us, it's like happy, mad, sad, or happy, glad, sad, or whatever it is.
Yes.
It's 3 emotions.
Yeah.
Exactly. I, you
Well, I didn't even do sad. And mad showed up when I threw my tennis racket on the court when I missed a ball.
Mhm.
That was it.
Yeah, like, and I wonder what life would have been like for you not having that outlet, right? Like tennis being an outlet to shift energy, allows
Yes.
work to come.
Yes. Thank goodness for the racket throwing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, work that you do, and these women are coming to you, and this is where I'm so curious to know the business side of what you do.
Yeah.
How are women finding you? There's a midlife woman and there's got to be more than this. And maybe she's even taken the route of, okay, my hormones are awesome, seeing a naturopath and doing all the testing, the Dutch test. Somebody tell me why I don't want to have sex and why I'm burnt out. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then how does she find you?
Originally, she found me because I have been out loud and proud on social media for a very long time. I've had a social platform established since we were doing Psychology Today back in the day, and when I came in Facebook, whenever that was. I've established a platform, and then my reach broadened when I had the opportunity to be on television for 6 years, which gave me a bigger audience and a more collection and knowledge of me. I was still in private practice, but I was known primarily on the socials as being a gal who was educating you about sexuality. My TikTok was entirely built on sexual tips and whatnot. TV, I was the psychology, sex, and relationships marriage expert of 140 TV segments on all major networks, including Access Hollywood. So I had this whole time of really it was a ball. It was a challenge, but it was a ball to be able to go and give my message out. And at that point, I had so much to say, and like I know how to say it. And it was really fun. It was really fun. And so that started to collect, and I'm just comfortable, like doing all the socials because I've been doing it, and then I did it on TV, and then I like to talk, I like to share, I like to empower, I like to preach and teach, I like to inspire. I would do it if there was no one in the room because it feels good to me, and it feels like I'm doing exactly what I'm here to do.
I couldn't agree more. I feel so lit up every time I get a microphone, a camera. Somebody get me a TV show. How do we make this happen? But yeah, I feel that exact same way. And I've heard you say from the beginning and a couple of times sprinkled throughout, your love. You're like, I love this. I'm so happy. You are lit up. And I think that is not, I know, and I know that for the people listening, I hope that they know that is going to sell more than any sales page or anything else, is your confidence and your magnetism and your energy towards the work that you do. If you were like, I don't know, like to help couples move through this thing, then it'd be like, ew, we're going to go to the next person. But
Yeah.
it's you, and it's your vibrancy and your energy and how much you love your work. And knowing that, okay, so TV is fun for you, the microphone, speaking, you would do it if nobody was around. All that feels fun. As a woman business owner, and you've been in this game for a long time, what feels like a challenge that you currently face as a business owner?
Well, before I answer that, let me back up and pick up on something you said, which I love that you're resonating and you pick up my passion and how lit up I am about the work I do. But I want to be really honest with the listener, which is this is born of treachery. This is born of my own deep work throughout my life. I don't believe we get to a place where we are in our zone of genius, where our life is so beautiful and full and rich without going through, living through, rewriting our story. I've had loss upon loss. I've had pain upon pain. I've had mental health issues. You don't get here because it was Pollyanna. You get here because, oh my God, I made it.
Yeah.
Not only did I make it, I am shining my brightest and I have the most to give because of my trajectory, my experience, and my professionalism, but mostly what I've lived through personally, that I can show up and I know what you've been through too. Because if it's not just like mine, it's really close. And I get it. I get it. And I know how to get you out of it. And I know how to get you to this beautiful place I am blessed to live in. And that I get to do this, that I have had this life for this kind of service. And I love the creativity and the innovation of the coaching online space that I'm now permitted, because I'm not a rules and regs girl. I was born oppositional. And so once I got out of private practice, I could give with all of myself without these parameters squelching me in the office. And women get more that way. And so do I. And that's why it's so rich, because the quality and depth and doing life with women and the relationships in our collective and the longevity of being in a relationship, like it is, here's the word, exquisite. So it's easy to be lit up when I get up. I'm excited. Most days I'm like, you got to pull in the reins, Leslie. That idea is not ready to go yet. The challenge of, and particularly right now, you're catching me in a state of elation and exhaustion because of the time of the year and all of the incredible things that have been rapidly happening in my coaching world and entrepreneurship. It's so on fire that it's a little bit hard to sleep. It's so exciting. And I'm doing so much during the days right now. So you're getting a kind of a raw version of me that's, can I go to a hotel for a weekend and just sleep already? And at the same time,
one step closer together.
Right. It's so thrilling, though, that I haven't gotten to completion where I can just completely celebrate it, though I celebrate everything. The challenge right now, there have been many challenges. I've been an entrepreneur in spirit and in personality all my life, but not in reality, except for the last truly 5-6 years. And it is no joke being an entrepreneur. It is not for everyone. It is, you have to hold heavy risk. You have to be very innovative. You have to really know you have something to bring and fight for it. You have to really know that the world needs what I've got, and the level of commitment and purpose behind it, I think, has to be very high level, or you won't hang in, because it's hard. There are months when you make no money. There are months that you make extreme money. And then you're like, now what? You're always like, what's next? And everything's always changing. So you're always having to look at trends, watch patterns. I do this, observe, study, look at what's going on in the culture now, where things need to go, given who I am and my business. It is like super great from an innovation and creativity standpoint. I'm still an artist at heart, right? It just went into this avenue. But balance right now is challenged. It won't be. I'm going to take 20 days off over the holidays and completely just be with my people. But entrepreneurship is very challenging. I've never worked harder in my life, ever, these last 4 years.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have a business partner, so my AlignedPurpose is myself and Kayla, but I'm the one
Yeah.
I'm the host of the podcast, and we've had this business. We're in our 5th year. And we were just texting each other last week about we're also in it. This is the busiest season for us this time of year.
Yes.
There's lots going on, and I'm so grateful for all of the opportunities and the clients and all of it. And we were like texting each other saying, holy smokes, like rating all this together and deciding on the marketing plan of what we're going to say when. It feels hard. And then I said to her, and I'd choose this hard over waking up and going to a classroom and following the politics of public education any day. Waking up, working from my home office, figuring it all out, making it all up, selling it, marketing it, delivering it. I choose this hard over somebody telling me where to be, what to do, what to say any day.
And I think there's something core that you just noted there that is true in entrepreneurships or somebody who really is an entrepreneur, which is being able to write their own structure, their own lifestyle. There's always a little bit, I think, of a rebellious spirit to system and structure and how-tos and rules and regs, because you want to be able to do it your way, a different way, and you want to be able to have the life that feels good to you on your terms. And that's worth fighting for. But it doesn't mean it's easy. But I agree with you. It's like this. I wouldn't take that again over this
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. The reward.
I can literally do nothing today if I want to. I can literally take off and say, it can wait. I can go out, and I will. I'm going to take my son out later. I think it's a good day to celebrate. There's a cool little bar here with the smoke drinks. Let's go do it. You can do anything you want.
I know, it literally is the best, and this is
Yeah.
what I preach from the rooftops. And like you said, you still get to support people in the way that you did in your private practice, in a way that works for you. And like you said, just removing all the parameters and rules and regs. And I still call myself a teacher. I am a teacher inside of my AlignedPurpose, but it's my curriculum and it's my rules.
Yes. Yes.
And it feels so.
The my piece. It's I want to do it the way I want to do it, with my gifts and my knowledge and the way I want to do it. And you can really make it what you want it to be. This last year, I added in luxury travel with my women. Oh my gosh, we're going to be doing so much more of that. Like, you can make fun for everyone. You can create lifestyle for everyone. Coaching, I call it organic coaching. It's my new little thing I'm calling it. Organic coaching from the pool in Cabo this year. Like, we're organic coaching and we're masterminding here, drinking our foofies. And this can be done because I don't have to have walls.
Yeah.
I don't even have to have a screen.
What I love about it, this is what Kayla and I always say to one another. Wow, we just made this up. Holy shit. And it's working. Like, we had a VIP day with a client earlier this week. And we said originally the VIP day is going to be a half day in-person strategy, and then we'll take you out for lunch, and then the day's wrapped. And then we said, hey, actually, can you give us a full day? And she said, okay, sure. And we said, we're not telling you what the latter half of the afternoon looks like. So we go out for bubbles, then we all went for luxury facials, and it was just like amazing. That's great. Robes, takings, and we were like, we made this up.
Because we can. And I know some people are like, how do they do that? That doesn't sound right. Whether I want to do that, how do I do it? And here's my take on it. Because what I heard it in you and what I know it in me, which is, one, you've got to love it and have a passion for it and be lit up about it. But you also have to have a growing confidence that it can be done.
Absolutely.
And so as those get more and more lit up and your confidence grows and grows, then possibility expands. And you can go, why not this? And why not this? Yeah. Because you're your product. You're the commodity. You are selling you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do a lot of different things around others that they can pay you for. Because of, for me, 44 years of experience. Like, when I say my love language is questions, it's because I don't know what you're going to ask, but I know it's in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the confidence. I think that this is a great opportunity to ask you, for everybody who's listening, and I know that my listeners, they know they can come back. Everything will be in the show notes. So if they're listening and driving, or listening and prepping their food, or whatever it is, we'll make sure that everything that you share gets linked here, Leslie. But what do you have going on? Let's say this episode's going to be released in the beginning of the new year.
Okay.
What's going on? Where can people find you? What are all your links? Let's share that with everyone.
You are right in the middle of a big excitement. After 4 years, finally launched a For All Women, No Women Left Behind, Remarkable Women Mastermind, membership, excuse me. I also have a mastermind. And it is a right price for any woman who wants to transform her life in community and with my coaching. And those doors open January 1 and launch with with the whole thing on the 7th. That's the greatest thing since sliced bread in my business right now. I do a lot of high-level mentorship. I do have a high-level mastermind called the Remarkable Women Mastermind. A lot of people start at the gateway of my signature program. But this is the first time an opportunity, like, I've heard it. You're so expensive. Who can afford you? And I don't care. I don't care about that really. But I do have a heart for all women transforming. And this gives all women an opportunity to be able to experience what my core inner circle women have for the last number of years, who will also be in that space. So super excited.
Amazing. And with your Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or
Yes.
or-
Instagram is my home from social media standpoint. It's Leslie Gustafson 1. My brand is there too, Amazing You brand. I also hang out on Facebook on my personal page. I am very active on the socials. I content create like a crazy person because I love it. It's the artistry of what I get to do. So I'm very accessible. I also have a full offer suite at lesliegustafson.com/shop. So you can go and look at, ooh, what do I want to buy and treat myself with? And enter into the Amazing You world, which is more and more amazing every day.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it is.
And we don't even know what tomorrow's bringing because it's going to be special.
I look forward to continuing to following along the journey and making sure that everybody who listens to this has the opportunity to take a look into your work and your world as well. And for everybody who wants to connect with Leslie, let her know that you heard her on this show. Leslie,
Awesome.
before we go, what's one piece or one takeaway that you want to leave with the listeners that you think is just so important, if it's the one thing they walk away with from today?
Never, ever give up. It is all possible for you too.
Perfect. I love that.
Never give up. Hold big hope. Believe. Keep at it. Keep going.
Follow people like yourself to borrow that belief and stay in that reminder. And
Yeah, and we really do need to surround ourselves with others who are also holding hope and believing and going for big things too. This is not something we do alone. We do it in community. We do it in sisterhood. We bluntly shed the ones who are holding us back and find the people that we can level up with who really get us. That's a part of the journey too. But we don't do this alone. And I'm a bit of a maverick and a lone ranger, and I've had to learn in many ways the hard way, but we need support and we need other women in our lives where we're like, me too.
yeah, absolutely.
But you've got it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
What honor and privilege.
It was so great. I feel like if time had permitted, I could have went hours of curiosity rabbit holes, but I will keep following along your work. And
Thank you so much. You're delightful. Your questions were wonderful. Obviously, you've done a lot of this. It was very ease and flow. So thank you for that. It was very organic and cool.
thank you. Have a great day, Leslie.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Did you hear that the doors to Cash Flow, our 4-week mastermind, are now open? And not only are you going to get to join us inside of Cash Flow, you're also going to get instant access to Manifesting Money Masterclass, which is our signature money course that we've taken over 600 women through. When you sign up for the 4-week live mastermind experience called Cash Flow, you will unlock instant access to Manifesting Money Masterclass. Cash Flow is for those of you who are open-minded about growing a multiple 6-figure business this year. Your up level is waiting. It's your chance to commit to practicing the skills that get sales and focus on the financial health, aka cash in the door, of your business. So if you're ready to be held accountable, to be challenged, and to be coached, not just to learn how to increase your sales, but actually make it happen, then do not wait to get into this mastermind. We are keeping it small and intimate with a maximum capacity of only 12 people. So if you are claiming one of those spots, head to the the link in the show notes now. Get signed up. We can't wait to get started. The first call is going to be on Thursday, February 20th, and it will be every Thursday after that for the following 4 weeks. Again, Cashflow is a 4-week mastermind where you will experience direct support with the top 2 things you need to thrive in your business, which is our proven sales training and transformative weekly mindset work. You're also going to get live mentorship from myself and Kayla to bring your 6-figure or multiple 6-figure strategy to life. And then you're also going to get all the behind the scenes tutorials on simple business tech that has skyrocketed our business to beyond 7 figures in 3 years. And yes, the calls will be recorded if you can't attend live and will be accessible for the duration of the mastermind. However, we recommend that you carve out this time in your calendar, Thursday, February 20th through Thursday, March, every week at 12 p.m. PST for 1 hour. And again, you're going to get that bonus of Manifesting Money Masterclass, which is our most sought after signature money program. You're going to get invited to a call to come join us to talk about our Manifesting Money Masterclass and how you can implement that into your life and business today. And then for those of you who pay in full, you're going to get our Cashflow Queen mug, which people have these all around the world, and we love pouring our favorite hot beverage in them, bringing them to our calls, cheersing and celebrating all of the big wins that we're getting up to. So if this is what you want, this is what you need, and you are ready to make it happen to dive deep in 4 weeks and get more sales in your business, then don't hesitate. Click that link in the show notes and let's get you signed up today.